Hello there. Welcome to My Gathering Basket. My name is Danelle. This is a My Gathering Basket mini. I just wanted to pop in and say hello to everybody and say I am still here. The problem is I do all of my uploading at the public library, and of course right now that's closed. So I haven't been able to podcast, but I'm hoping if I can do it just really short that maybe I can get this uploaded tonight and at least say, hey everybody. I do have a few things that I have been able to work on now because I am a greenhouse worker. We are considered essential and life is kind of almost busier than normal for me. It's spring. We have gotten into the garden this weekend. We have our potatoes planted and our broccoli and onions and peas are in the ground. So we are planting and so is everybody else. And of course, this year people are gardening even more than normal. So life has been busy and I haven't had a whole lot of extra time, amazingly enough. So not a whole lot of quarantine crafting for me, but I have had, because it's been like almost 2 months since I've been able to podcast. So I do have some finished objects to show you. Biggest one is what I am wearing. This is the palette sweater that I have been working on forever. This is the pattern by Lisa K. Ross, just called Palette. And this is yarn by Show Me Yarn in their worsted weight. And I believe this was intended for a show sample this summer, or this spring and summer for their shows. And of course, most of those are canceled. So I kind of dawdled a little bit since I had an extension. And it really didn't take very long to knit the sweater. It took me longer to get the buttons sewn on, to find the buttons I wanted and to get them sewn on. So this will be winging its way down to the Show Me Yarn studio, and hopefully if this fall some shows are back up and running, I think the hope is that they'll have this in kit form in different colors. So I'm hoping to get this off in the mail to them so that they have time to kind of do some measuring and decide what colors they want to offer and all of that. And when I have more information about the availability on it, I will absolutely let you know. And I'll put a link to their shop in the show notes because they do have other things available. But I'll stand up. This is a raglan cardigan, and it has 4 beautiful colors in it, matching sleeves. It actually has 8 buttons, and somehow I goofed in my math and I did 7. But that is, I'm really pleased with the fit, with the gauge. As you know, if you have been a long-time viewer and saw the beginning of this project, I started this back in, I think, August. And my gauge I thought was off. I let it sit for months. I was afraid I was going to run out of yarn. I came close, but I had plenty. So it all worked out beautifully in the end. I am so happy. It feels so nice and warm and cozy on a 75-degree day here in Southwest Missouri. So I've got some pictures and now I've shown it to you. I hope to get it on Instagram and then I can get it in a box this week and get it mailed down to my friends at Show Me Yarn. So that is the first of my Make 9 list that I got started back in January and made a list of 9 different projects I wanted to make this year. That's in conjunction with Amy of Noble Character Crafts. So I have 1 I can mark off my list. And the second one that I have, I showed you already as well. This is the Sheep Head Hat by Kate Davies. And I got that started and then had to frog. And I am now, as of this morning, further along than when I frogged it. So I have sheep. I am just, this little white here is getting ready to start their faces. And I have 5 more rows and I will have sheep all together on my hat. So I'm really happy with how that's turned out. My friend Tammy sent me a message when I talked about this on the last episode and said, go ahead and rip it out. You know, and I knew, I was hearing her voice. that I was going to be happier if I fixed it. My fix, if you did not see that episode, I had knit this the first time. I had knit all the way up to where I am now, basically, and I had knit the legs of the sheep in the same brown. I misunderstood the graph, and I had used the brown color for the legs as well. And I didn't think it would bother me, but the more I knit, the more it bothered me. So I ripped it all back down to here and re-knit the legs in black, and I am so happy I did. It's just standing out so much better. So there is the progress I have on this hat, which is really good because the new Shetland Wool Week hat pattern was released called Katie's Cap. I am hoping, I think, to do some hand spun for that. I don't know. I have so many hand spun goals, projects that I want to make, and I'm not really sure which one is going to get priority. And the Jameson of Shetland colorway that was put out. Each year, the Shetland Wool Week, which Shetland Wool Week was canceled for this year. Bummer, I wasn't going to get to go, but I hate to see that. But I understand. But we're still knitting the cap along, and they've released it in 4 different colorways by each of the 4 big yarn producers in Shetland, one of which is a hand spun option, which is really cool. And that's the one that made me think maybe I need to hand spin for this. It is a main color and 4 other colors, and I'm trying to see if maybe I can natural dye those colors. So some of that is going to be delayed until I have flowers in my garden that I can dye with. So there will be future fodder for podcasts. But that's been released, and I'm hoping that I can get started on that one. I have 2 more of the Shetland Wool Week hats that I want to get made, so I've got plenty of things I can do while I wait for flowers to grow. But really, really happy with how this hat is looking so far. So that's been my knitting. And then of course I have to give the washcloth update, right? So since I saw you last, I have a stack, sorry about the shake there, a stack of 28, I believe, which brings my total up to 128 so far. So I am making slow but steady progress, and I am not going to go through all of these, but most of them are the Hobby Lobby I Love This Cotton. I did do, I was going to show you this. Here we go. I had some cotton. It was a heavy thread that I had left over from a test knit that I had done probably a year or 2 ago. It was fairly thin, a little bit heavier than if you're a thread crocheter, a little bit heavier than a number 10. If I can pull this apart, you can kind of see that's 2 strands. So what I did, it's just not wanting to come apart. Okay, so there's 2 strands. So you can tell it's kind of thin. There's a brown and a white one there. So fairly thin, but I had gobs of it left over. So they had told me to use the leftover for charity knitting, and I decided to hold it double, and it makes a really nice, it is 1/2 gram different in weight than the I Love This Cotton. So I'm working on those to kind of try to finish up my project. And then one of my favorites, if I can find it really quick, I just thought that was fun. Scraps of this colorway and then a brown border. So again, I am making slow but steady progress on the dishcloths. I should have no problem in getting done by October with my 200 dishcloths. And then quilting. I have, before all of the shutdowns, the stay-at-home orders, I had gotten in a bunch of quilts to work on. So I hope, if any luck, I will finish my very last one tomorrow night. It is half done. And then my queue is open, and I'm going to try to get some of my own quilts done. But I wanted to show you one from my friend Claudia. She brought me several, and one of them was a knitting themed quilt. So it's the one behind me. And if you can see all the yarn here and the yarn balls, and I couldn't get it up here, but there's actually a fabric that has cats in knitted sweaters, like Fair Isle sweaters. It is so cool. And she and I picked out just barely see the blue here, but we picked out a pantograph, a quilting design called Tangled Yarn. How perfect is that? So I had this all done, and I asked her if I could show it on the podcast because I thought you guys would appreciate a knitting themed quilt. So I have this all ready for her to work on the binding, and as soon as the restrictions are lifted, we are going to meet up and get her quilts back to her. So Claudia, here you go. It is so cute. I love how it turned out. So I have been quilting, I have been knitting, frankly, I've been doing everything but cleaning house, and that's what I need to do next. But garden season is upon us, and I will put a couple pictures at the end here of what we've got going so far in the garden. I saw bees in our redbud tree this morning. There were so many bees in that tree, and if you're not familiar with redbuds, they're very common in our area of the country, and they grow into a really pretty, very lacy kind of looking leaf tree, I think. And in the spring, this time of year, they have little flowers. They're just covered with little flowers that are about this color pink. They're beautiful. In fact, a friend of mine makes jelly out of them, and it is a beautiful jelly, just a very rosy pink. But the nectar apparently is just right now. And when I walked by the redbud in my parents' yard this morning, it was literally humming with bees. Like, I heard the sound, stopped, and looked for the bees. So it was really good. Those are some of the first bees that I've seen this spring. So everything is starting to pop out. Things are coming to life. We are getting chicken eggs galore right now. They are laying so well, and we are actually talking about getting some more chicks here soon. So there's going to be more life coming to our little homestead. Anyway, I am running out of time. This is longer than I anticipated talking, but it's so good to chat with you, and I hope to be able to do it soon. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I am trying to put updates over there. I am 3 Strands Fiber, and I will put a link to my account below. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are using your time well this odd season, and being able to reach out digitally to friends. I have been able to do so many new things, try new things that I probably wouldn't have if I hadn't been forced to. So I hope in all of this crazy that you are doing well and you are finding some silver linings here and there. I hope that your basket is overflowing with blessings. I hope to talk to you soon, but bye for now.